What's up, guys? I hope you're doing really well. I'm sorry that it's been ages since I released a video. I see a lot of the messages and stuff. People are always asking me where am I and why I'm not doing videos and stuff. I'm sorry. I love making videos, but I've just been so busy lately, so many jobs on at the moment, and yeah, it's just been so hectic that I've just kind of let the YouTube thing slide. So I apologize. I'm going to start trying to make more videos again, but I've had some massive projects and a whole bunch of stuff going on in my life that I just really had to just sort out and kind of put YouTube on the back burner. So anyway, to get back into things, I thought, I didn't really have an idea for a video. I thought, what's an easy one? I thought I'll show you guys some of the client projects that I've been doing while I haven't been making videos, and show you some of the original sketches and stuff like that as well, so you can kind of get a view into my process a little bit and see what I was thinking, and yeah, just see what some of my really shitty sketches look like when I first do them. So anyway, I'm going to take you through just a small sample of some of the designs I've been working on lately, some of my favorite ones. So first up, I've got a Brisbane-based non-profit called Life Warriors, which I think is pretty cool. So I did a few designs for these guys. I'm just going to show you a couple of them for now though, but they had a pretty specific brief. They really wanted a hand or a hand doing a shaka or something like that. So one of the concepts I came up with was to do this hand breaking an arrow. So this was the original sketch that I did. As you can see, it's real primitive, pretty crappy. After that, I actually inked it over the top. So this was the inked version, and then I added some text around it. They were pretty keen on that shaka as well, so I did a version like that as well with another rough sketch. And yeah, so that was the other one. Pretty simple, really, nothing too crazy on there, but I thought it was kind of cool, so I thought I'd share it anyway. Alright, so next up, I've got some designs I did for the Culprit Club, which is an art gallery based here in Brisbane. They're doing a lot of really good things for the local art scene, so I had the pleasure of doing a whole ton of designs for them. I'm just going to show you a couple of my favorite ones and the ones that I got asked the most about. People were asking me on Instagram how I drew them and that kind of stuff, so I thought I would show you how that was done. So first up, I did this heart design that's like a like a fence that's been broken into. It kind of plays on the name, the Culprit Club and that sort of thing. A lot of people were asking how I came to this and how I drew it and that, so it was actually super easy. I drew the basic heart shape, which isn't quite perfect, which is just kind of part of my style, but you could just get a heart shape off the internet and trace it or whatever if you really want. Then I got a photograph of a chain link fence and chucked it behind it, and then basically just traced over where all of the chain links would sit. So then I was left with just a solid design. And people were asking about like the cutoff bits and that sort of thing. So literally all that I did was I had the whole thing fully done without any of the cut wires or anything like that. And then I got just the eraser tool and literally just erased a random shape in the middle like this, and then decided I would just do it at random without really thinking about it, and then try and figure that out. And then I just drew on those ends separately. So if I actually remove the rest of the design, you can see that that's what I drew on over the top, and that was literally all there was to it. I just played with a whole bunch of random different angles and lines and stuff until I came up with something that looked not terrible, pretty much. And it took me a few goes. I had to kind of think about the angles a bit more. I thought it would be easier than it actually was, but yeah, that was really all there was to it. All right, the bolt cutters. A lot of people asked about this one. So just quickly, here is the final design that I did, which I really liked. So first up, I did this really crappy rough sketch. I think I actually sketched the hand on the left and then duplicated it and just mirrored it to get the right one. That's why I looked the same. Yeah, just did this really rough sketch to just kind of lay the idea out and think about it a bit. Then I went to do the next sort of phase of sketching. So I actually just drew these perfect lines and just angled them a little bit so I could use it as a base. Then from there, I sketched back on the rest of the design, I should say. And then again, I actually just duplicated it to get the other side as well. So I ended up with this. And then from there, I just traced over that again and inked it all in nice and clean. And then I actually took this design into Adobe Illustrator. Sorry, I don't have the line work version. I should have shown that, but I had a version that was just black lines on a white background, took that into Adobe Illustrator, live traced it, and just deleted all the black lines, and it just left me all the white shapes that were in the middle. And that's kind of how I get to that negative effect. It's just what I find the fastest way. I did a couple of mock-ups of this one as well. I thought this one was kind of cool, so I just chucked that in there too. So next up, a design that I just posted on Instagram that people seem to like was this hands kind of coming out of this blade. So the idea started, actually I was just drawing a blade. It's just one of the things that I draw when I'm, bored and have nothing to do, so I draw daggers and switchblades and stuff. I draw a lot of skulls, as a lot of you guys that follow me kind of already know that. So I drew this, and I had the idea to have a hand coming out of it, and so this was the first sketch that I did, but it just felt really, really imbalanced because there was just the one hand, I think. So there was this massive kind of this gap, like it was just really asymmetrical. So I thought, oh, well, what if I make another hand coming out? I did have some flowers and stuff coming out to try and fill the space, and that looked pretty terrible. Unfortunately, I deleted the sketch, so I don't have that bit. But then I decided to just duplicate the hand, so I literally just cut and paste it and had one coming out of the handle as well, and that kind of balanced it a bit more visually, I think. From there, I just inked it. I actually did two versions. So the left one is the one that I did first. So just tracing the sketch that I did, and then I actually erased some parts of it in this second one here. I'll just zoom in a bit so you can see, but yeah, I just erased these parts to make it a little bit clearer, that, you know, to add some depth to it so you can see that the hands are in front of these lines and stuff like that. Again, I did the same thing in Adobe Illustrator. I just copy pasted it from here into Illustrator, live traced it, and then just deleted the outlines to get the white version. Okay, so I'll just quickly actually show you guys how this is done. I do have a tutorial about it already, but look, it's only gonna take me a second. So I just literally copy pasted the design from Photoshop into Illustrator. I've got the image trace window open over here. I'm gonna drop it down, put the paths up really high, corners down really low, noise down really low, not touch anything else, and hit preview. And as you can see, it looks almost exactly the same as the original sketch, but it's now in vector. So I can expand it, right click, ungroup it, click on those background objects, the white stuff, and delete it. And now I've got the design like that. So from there, I literally just duplicated it again, clicked on some of the white outlines, black outlines, I should say, and deleted them. And that's how I got the solid white version. Anyway, back to Photoshop now. But yeah, so that was what I came up with. Then I had this, which is pretty much standard for me, I guess, like that really dark charcoaly background and a light gray for the design. And I've been feeling a bit like not that happy with my creative work lately, so I thought I'll try and mix in some colors and stuff, and I came up with this kind of reddy orangey color that I like. So that led me to this design here, and I also put a really subtle amount of that orange in the background as well at really low opacity, which I thought was kind of cool. This is the one I posted on Instagram, and also I was playing around with some watercolor textures and stuff, and I also had this one, which I wasn't, you know, super happy about, but I thought it was kind of cool, so I thought I'd show you guys anyway. All right, so next one. This is one that I've got probably the most sketches for, I guess. Like, you'll get to see some of the really primitive sketches. Unfortunately, I delete a lot of the crappy old ones after I'm done. I just delete the layers because I don't use them anymore. I'll try and keep more though, so I can show some more behind the scenes stuff. But anyway, this is a brand called Guilty. It's a new brand. The brief that I was given was a scythe and a flower wrapped around it somehow, and the word guilty in there as well. So those were the requirements. So these were the really early stage sketches that I came up with. This was pretty much just a quick 10-minute sketch, so I could chuck it back in an email and just say, I just want to make sure this is what you had in mind, you know, are we on the right page? And they were like, yep, this is exactly what we want, like on the right track for sure, it's the right concept, it's what we had in mind. So I was like, awesome. And they liked, I think they said they liked the top left one the most. So then I did another round of sketches based on that sort of concept, and I came to these. I thought if I was going to do the whole thing, I should also add in some other little bits to sort of go with it. Like if you printed this number one over here on the back of a shirt or something, you could have a small design like just the script by itself, or just the actual bud of the flower here as well, to go like on the front pocket or something like that. So I just thought, you know, I'd chuck those in as well. There were some, not awkward, but there were some little gaps in the design originally as well. So I used these kind of like blood drop looking things to fill those in as well, to create some balance. And yeah, I sent those over, and yeah, they really liked design number one. So yeah, then I went ahead and just traced those again and refined them. This was the final script, still hand drawn in Photoshop like everything else. So that's why it's, you know, not quite perfect, which is cool. It's just the style that I do a lot and people ask for. This was the full design that I came up with at the end, and I did I keep saying this, but I did the same technique again, pasted it in Illustrator, live traced it and all that, and just kept the white parts. And this was just the flower bud thingy by itself with some hand-drawn lettering around it as well. So yeah, anyway, it feels good to be back. It feels weird to be making videos, but I hope that was somewhat useful and you guys learned, you know, a thing or two. I'm going to try and keep more of the behind the scenes stuff and maybe even film some of the initial sketching and stuff so you can see it all, how it all happens and that kind of thing. But yeah, if there's any particular videos or tutorials that you want to see me make, just let me know in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions about anything that I just did in the video, let me know as well. And yeah, I apologize if that was a bit rusty. It's been ages. I think it's been months since I last did a video and it feels really weird. But yeah, hopefully I'll have another video out for you guys soon. So thank you again for your continued support and I really appreciate it.